Chris Watts' Full Prison Interview, Part 2. This video features the raw and unsettling prison interview with Watts, where he recounts the horrific details of his crimes. In this interview with investigators, Watts confessed publicly for the first time to killing his daughters, Bella and Celeste. Prepare to be confronted with the dark side of human nature as we explore the motivations and actions of a man capable of such unimaginable violence.
What were the conversations with Nikki as far as at some point you guys were talking about her helping you find an apartment? So what did you guys talk about as far as your future together?
That didn't really happen until like we got back from the beach. So I told her I lied to her like, hey, I had talked to Shanann about getting a separation.
And that talk hadn't happened yet.
No, I mean it kind of like not. I mean, she knew something was going on and things. I mean, we weren't sleeping in the same room, and then she even mentioned the fact like, hey, Colorado's 50-50 state or something like that. And okay, I guess you looked it up. But that actual talk hadn't actually happened. I was just like, I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah. And so in conversations with Nikki, I get it. I mean, if you're telling her like the progress toward the divorce is a little bit more than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then so what were you guys planning?
So it was more of like she's going to help me find an apartment that was affordable. This is kind of just around like Brighton or maybe just close to work, like for Lupton or something around there. That's kind of like where my area was.
Did you talk about moving in with her?
She didn't want that.
She didn't want that. Would you have done that if she would have been cool with that?
That'd been a little too soon. I would have thought. There's just we'd only been really seeing each other like almost like a month, or they just talking about 2 months. That would really. She called her house like her apartment like her. I don't know, like her kind of like a shield or kind of like her. She had another word for it, but
Like her safe place?
yeah, like a safe place or something like that. And she like people like to invade it, but that's why she always let me come over because she said she felt like that was fine, like her dog liked me and everything. Like she would say, hey, just ship people along here type thing. Like, oh, okay.
So you and Shanann, did you and talk about selling the house? At what point did you? There was some discussion there with shows and
Yeah, she had sent an email about to Ann about like how we would go about like selling the house.
yeah.
And I think Ann told her about get like Ann was always about getting pre-approved. Just like like if you're going to sell your house, get pre-approved for like another house, so it's like much faster.
Yeah, so you can just quickly transition from one to the other. When did that happen? Remember?
I think it was either right before we left. No, that had to have been like first week of August, somewhere around there. I think she might have contacted her.
Okay. So the plan was maybe to buy a house. I think you told me in Brighton. You think about buying a house in Brighton.
Yeah, just like she liked that Adams 12 school system or something.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that's what Brighton is.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about when you called the school that day on Monday?
I was freaking out. I didn't know, like I was thinking in my head, like what I just did, what I just done, and I didn't know, like it was stupid to do anything. I mean, to call the school, to call Ann, to call anybody. I mean, they were right to be, suspicious about anything. Look, 'cause I knew I probably sounded eccentric on the phone and out of sorts, and just I can only I don't even know what they were thinking. They heard me.
I think they thought I was weird, but I don't know how you would not sound weird, like you said. So
Are you 100% sure the girls were still around and alive when you drove out? Okay. So that's completely accurate. There's nothing else about that.
They got in the truck.
Okay.
where did the blanket go?
It's probably in the trash can or something. I think.
Trash?
It wasn't like It was still in my truck.
Okay. We thought we saw some GPS where you would stop by near a construction roll off dumpster. Is that true or?
I think that's like I dumped my clothes in there.
So that would have been on the way back to the house. Yeah.
In my neighborhood.
Yeah. When Officer Kunab was there. Okay. Was it one of those red construction dumpsters?
More than likely.
Did you pack new clothes? How did that work?
I already have some in there because, like, in case we have like a spill or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you ever get crude oil on you, you don't. Yeah, I have like 2 pairs of boots, all kinds of different stuff in there, just because like one time I had to pick up a spill and I had defrost on, and I had like a headache for like 2 weeks because
Oh.
like the crude oil that comes in that. So I always have some in there.
So where did you keep them after you took them off? Like, did you just change out there into your new other?
So like I dumped my clothes in that dumpster.
But that wasn't that on the way back when you were coming. Like you'd already worked the whole day,
Yeah.
right?
I worked like till like 11 or so.
11.
Yeah. So that was back when Nicole Atkinson.
Yeah, when she was
Yeah, when she
at my
called.
house, hit the doorbell, that's when I knew someone was at the house.
Right.
Did you think right then, like, oh fuck, like here we go, or what were you thinking then?
I didn't even know why she was there. I was like, I didn't know, like, maybe she had an appointment or something with Shanann. I didn't know.
What did you think, like that day, like what you were gonna say? Like, what was your plan? Were you just gonna go home and be like, report to the police that your family's gone, or?
I had, like, once, like, I had no idea what was going to happen. Like, after everything, I don't even know how I was even acting even normal to people that I was around. Because when, like, Troy and Cody and Chad and Melissa and all them, like, when they showed up on the site, I don't even know how I was even being somewhat even coherent what I was saying, but apparently they understood me. So I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I said, this wasn't like something like some criminal minds type.
Like well thought out.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing like that.
You're just minute by minute at that point.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on.
So once the girls were gone, was it also just a minute by minute thing as far as the oil tanks?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to fill up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was like going up, just going up the stairs, and it just didn't. No, like what Frank said is like I was trying to separate everybody. That's not.
No.
No, I didn't want to separate anybody.
What was the reason?
I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
Did you think there would be less chance of someone finding them if they were in separate tanks, or?
Sounds like a little.
No, I didn't. Whatever my reasoning was in my head that day, it wasn't sound. It was nothing that's right.
And you don't even remember thinking about it.
No, it was just like a reaction of something that I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that?
Oh,
There were two.
okay. Yeah, it's trying to, because like this she kept. I didn't want to, like when I was putting the one here, I guess the thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
So what'd you do?
Put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head, so they didn't have to see.
And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
They didn't.
Okay. That's good.
I just know, like when I was driving up there, I mean, they were just, sitting there, just, kind of asleep or kind of just like, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps. I didn't.
you remember having any thoughts or thinking about why not just putting them all together with Shanann?
It was happening so fast. I had no time to really have a thought. That was my own.
Okay.
That wasn't like dutifully trying to separate anybody passing away, trying to keep anybody separate. That's the past. And everything, Frank, Sandy, and Frankie said, like I don't hold it against them. I mean, they can hate me they have a right to hate me for the rest of their lives.
They don't
They
hate you.
don't. In fact, while we're on the subject, I speak with them weekly, and I told them that we were going to come here, and then hopefully would speak with us. And they told me to tell you, understandably, they're devastated, but they actually said that they love you. They still love you, and Sandy explained it. He's our son-in-law for 8 years. I can't just turn that off. So they don't hate you. They don't.
That's amazing to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you, Sandy was the one that was most resistant to penalties in this case. And she told me that from the very beginning. That she didn't want that. It's God's decision. It's not her decision. And then she told me that even then. So it's not just a one-time thing that she has said it to me. It's been over the whole course of the event. So that's probably one of the most honest things someone's ever told me. So it's pretty amazing. Faith is, she's obviously a believer. So am I. I get it. So I understand it.
That's amazing to hear that.
Yeah. Good people.
I would have figured they would have hated me for.
They don't. I mean, yeah, anybody would think that. I certainly would have, but I have to admit I was surprised, really taken back by that. But they certainly don't. So.
What did they say when they knew you were coming out here?
They said they want to know details because they need closure, and that's really all they want, and they want to keep it private. And I said, well, absolutely. We'll talk to them about what you told us, and just so they can put it past them because they're having a hard time dealing with it and trying to get past it all. And I think that may help just to know.
Closures, I mean, my parents still think, like I told them I pled guilty for a reason,
Right.
Right.
and like I told it to them when they had that video phone thing in Colorado the day before. Like I pled guilty, like I plead guilty for a reason. Like I didn't just, I knew other people were watching. I didn't just go in and just say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like they seemed to take it. Like, okay.
What
And
made you do that, Chris? What made you plead guilty?
I didn't want anybody else to. I didn't want them to go through this for 2 or 4 years. I didn't want my attorneys to lie for me for 2 or 4 years. Like they would have done anything I told them to do.
Sure.
That's what I don't see how they can do that. Like, that's what attorneys do. Like they take their defendant and they say, like, what happened? Okay, we'll go with that story. Like I told them everything I just told you guys. And it's just like, they got together. They're like, well, if they ever offered a plea deal, would you ever want to like just plead guilty to? I'm like, yeah. I mean, if we can end this, end it. Like I was like in September, I told them that.
Really?
Yeah, but it was way too early, and prosecution was still doing their investigation, still grabbing evidence and all kinds of stuff, and that wasn't even really on the table. So I think it was like around Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when the prosecution went to Frank and Sandy and Frankie's house, and it's talking like, if we can end this, would you be open to that? And that's when like the whole death penalty and everything, all that
Right.
conversation happened. And I guess they were surprised that it would just be over.
Yeah.
And
We were all in shock. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, that was like,
It's like we were going 100 miles an hour and then we just hit a brick wall. Like that's what it felt like to all of us. So, I mean, obviously you had more time to
Yeah, I mean,
contemplate it
yeah,
enough.
I told John and Kate and Sophia and everybody, Amy, hey, if we can just stop this, and like, I know it's, everybody's telling me to fight this, there's no like, there's like, everybody's saying there's like not enough evidence to such this and that. And I'm just like, no, I'm just like, this needs to end. Like, I don't want people to have to, because for Frank and everybody to have to fly back to Colorado every single time and get reminded of this. Like, I'm not sure it's never going to go away, but to actually have to come and talk about it, have other people talk about it, have, all three of you get on the witness stand and say, what they saw,
And
what they've seen, what they heard on tapes and everything like that. It's just like, I don't want people to relive that over and over and over again for years. Like, if I could just end this for everybody, and then like, if there's any closure at all, they could start then instead of like 2022.
Right.
And everything just like, 'cause I know it'd only get worse for everybody.
So did it have anything to do with you not having the death penalty?
No, like, I mean, honestly, like, when I was sitting in that cell, I felt like I should have died. I mean, I was listening to everybody telling me, like, hey, if you do this and this, you can hang yourself in that cell. You could do this and that.
They were like telling you stuff.
Yeah, you could drown yourself in the toilet if you wanted to fill your toilet bowl up or something like that. It was, they've been there a bunch of times. And, like, at one point, I was listening to them.
Mhm.
And I was like, I just felt like maybe there's a different purpose for me somewhere. Maybe it's here. I don't know. Like, I prayed to God every day that He would move me away from Colorado, like move me away from like the DOC there, because I just knew, like, 'cause they were saying there was a hit on me. They said if I was going to a DOC in Colorado, like, I'd last a week and I'd be dead because of like the gangs and all that kind of stuff. So like, I just felt like God moved me here for a reason. And hopefully I can help people that way. But like, I didn't want my family, I didn't want Shanann's family, all of our friends, like, having to go through that, because after a while I knew it was like this stuff was everywhere. And I knew, like, all her Thrive friends, everybody, that was just like, it would just just put that hole in their heart just a little bit bigger every time. I didn't want that. So I knew it would have gotten worse. I didn't want it to get any worse than it already was.
Did you ever think about, well, it could be very believable what I told him. It could be very believable that Shanann did, end the girls. So maybe if I tried to convince people that, maybe if I fought with my attorneys on that, maybe I could lessen it somehow. Did you ever think about that?
Honestly, I never even thought about the story until you guys mentioned it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I wondered.
I never even thought about it until you guys mentioned it.
So what did you think about it once it got mentioned?
Like, I just went with it. I didn't, like, I knew my dad was out there. I knew it was like, I knew they would probably believe it because, my mom and my sister just never really liked Shanann. I knew, like, I mean, through all this, like, I got letters from some of my friends that even said, when we went to your house, we could see, Shanann was more of a dominant personality and more of like, hey, you're always helping with the kids and everything. Just, you're a great dad and everything. We could see, a couple things that I never saw or, whatnot. And even my best friend Mark can say, there's always, something, I didn't really get with Shanann. I was like, nobody ever told me any of this stuff, but okay. But yeah, I never thought about that story. And, that's what my attorneys were going with. And then, like, I think it was probably the second week I told them, like, what had really happened.
What did they say after that?
They were quiet. They were writing it down. They said they wouldn't judge me. So I told them. I told them everything that happened. And they, appreciated, like, I guess, most of the time, their defendant or their, defense don't, like, tell them actually what happened.
No. Yeah.
They just, tell them, all right, get me out of here. This is what happened. But I told them what happened. I didn't want them going, if this was going to go, like, anywhere in courts, I didn't want them to be under a false pretense and, like, get surprised. So I know like there was probably things that you guys probably knew that maybe if I lied to them and just told them, no, this is what happened, that it would have like made them look, foolish and stupid and just like, unprepared. And I'm just like, this is what happened. And they appreciated me telling them that. So now they would be prepared. And that's when they were saying like, if it was ever, if we ever went to them, the prosecution, and say, if we could end this, would I be open to it? I'm like, if it could end, then
I know there was like, wasn't her phone found on the couch or between the couch cushions? Like, did you plant all that stuff?
just threw it in there.
You just threw it in
Yeah,
there? Why did you do that?
I don't know what was going on that morning. Like even like, her watch, her phone, like if I was actually like if I'd planned this, I would probably just take it out to the field, But
What about her ring and stuff? What were you thinking about that?
it's like, maybe maybe she actually really wanted a divorce, maybe she didn't want to fix it, just put it there on the counter.
She took it off? Or did you take it off?
I took it off.
Okay. Oh, so that would look like she was saying, I want a divorce. I'm leaving it here when I take it off. I see.
So the phone and her watch and the couch, was that morning before you left to go to surgery?
That's I think Nicole's son found it or something.
Yeah.
What other things did you do that maybe we even missed?
So the phone and watch. Yeah. I think I threw the therapy book she wanted me to read in the trash.
That was that morning?
I think so.
Were you trying to make it look like she threw it in the trash?
I don't know. I just
Oh.
I just didn't think nothing was ever gonna work again. So I didn't know what was going on.
Did you go down to the basement? I thought the basement door opened.
Yeah, the door is open, but yeah. So there was a lot of movement. I think it was around 4:26 or something. From the garage door opening, the basement door opening, and then of course the living room sensors and all. Do you remember what you were doing all during that time?
You had a lot of steps. I'll just say that.
So like the basement, I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I really have down there is my workout, the bench press and whatnot.
Do you remember going down there for anything or opening that door for anything? Did you think about, well, maybe I'll take her out that way, or is it a walkout basement?
No,
It wasn't at your house. Okay.
that's like a garden level basement. So
Okay.
But no, I don't know the place. What's that? I don't think it worked out that morning.
Like, were you packing your lunch in the kitchen? Like, did you have to do all that normal stuff? Okay.
I packed lunch and everything. Did all that, but I don't remember about the basement. Unless I just worked out that morning, I just don't remember. I don't think I did.
So one of the more,
Unless there was a trash bag down there at that time.
Yeah, you got trash bags from there.
Maybe there wasn't any in the garage, and I went down there and got one.
Do you normally carry a roll of trash bags in your truck?
No.
So there was a roll in the truck.
I was, yeah. I mean, maybe I just grabbed it and brought it with me then.
That would have been kept in the basement, maybe, or
It's not in the garage.
in the garage. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Graham?
um, one of the more kind of poignant or tender moments in all of this was seeing with your dad when he came in. What was it like when you picked him up at the airport?
It was very strange. It was kind of like I almost knew this was probably the last time I'd ever see him on the outside. In my head, I knew that.
Yeah. What'd you guys talk about?
Honestly, like he just wanted to talk about sports. He just like, he's always the kind of like, distance himself from like a problem type thing. Like, when like if there's ever an issue or anything like that, he always want to talk about like just bring up like when I was trying to get him to quit smoking like all the time. Like that's after like I graduated high school and whatnot. He would
Are you talking about cigarettes?
yeah.
Okay.
And he would always like just change stuff. He'd be like, oh, you know what happened in the race? Football, just something. I mean, he He just never wanted, like, he said, okay, yeah, I'll get to it. And he was boom, something else. And, I just kind of felt like it was kind of like that, like he maybe asked like a few questions, like, do you know where they're at? And do you think, where they're at or anything like that? I just, don't know. And then like, just want to talk about sports and just like normal things. Just kind of, I'm not sure if he maybe knew anything, and maybe he kind of figured out something maybe happened and just wanted to talk to me. That's son.
Is it possible he saw that you were in a stressful situation and wanted to do what he always did?
Yeah.
Make things comfortable.
I think that was a good way to put it.
I bet you picked up a lot of that from him.
Yeah, because stressful situations, like the gray hair didn't show it, but like I try not to be in stress. But it's like I worked on cars. There's a lot of stress because it's always it's on commission. You get paid what you do, not by showing up. So then Darko was a little less stressful. I got paid just to be there. But,
Was your dad's marriage like yours and Shanann's marriage, as far as like your dad was the more passive one and your mom was the
yeah,
more
mom
dominant?
was always the more aggressive one.
Was she like Shanann in a way? I mean, were you attracted to Shanann because she was kind of like how your mom and dad's relationship was, or
It was like it almost mirrored like her mom and dad's relationship, honestly, because her dad's like my dad. Because they're both like kind of calm, cool,
I
like
could see that. Yeah.
mom's very.
Sandy rules that roost.
Oh yeah, yeah, very. And it's just like I kind of related it to that
Hmm.
because like her mom always said like she always told Shanann that she would marry somebody else kind of like her dad. I felt like I was kind of like her dad.
Hmm.
I mean, I wasn't like I couldn't build a lot of things he could, but our personalities were kind of like I was always I think he really liked me the first time he met me because like I was helping Shanann with this. She had got this car from the dealership that she worked at, and she was driving around and felt like the wheels might fall off. And I pulled over where her dad was, and I was like, I got underneath it, jacked it up, and I was like, trying to fix everything. He's saying like any other guy she'd ever dated would have just like stood by and watched me do it. And so like that's when she really like kind of like me.
Good to you.
It's like I was always wanting to help people, not to hurt anybody.
Well, and you helped her all through her lupus, and you're at the colonoscopy, and you're jacking up the car.
Yeah, I mean, anytime she had an issue with like Carter at the Dirty South Customs, like I would just go out to work, see what I could do with it. I would just do whatever I could to help.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the reasons Frank and Sandy work so well is because Frank let Sandy be Sandy.
Yeah,
And they probably both saw in you that you let Shanann be Shanann.
yeah. I just like I didn't try to change her.
Right.
Like I just let her be who she is.
Yeah.
She's like she's gung ho. She's she knows what she wants. She's gonna go get it.
Yeah.
And I didn't say, hey, you can't do that. And that's what her first husband.
Yeah.
She controlled everything. He tried to be Sandy. And it didn't work. And she turned into almost like me. She was like, she just kind of like laid back and just kind of like let him do what he was doing. And I think she learned after that she can just be herself. And with me, she could definitely be herself.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked.
So do you think your dad had any inkling? Because I'm trying to remember the timing. He showed up when you were still walking around. You weren't in any trouble yet. Ronnie came in.
Yeah, I had met with you the night before,
Mhm.
for like 3 or 4 hours. And then I was at Nick and Amanda's house.
Yeah.
We met there, and that's when I went to go pick him up.
Okay. And you picked him up. It was early that morning, right?
He was like 10:30, I think, when his flight came in.
Okay. And then so from there, you guys probably drove home and then to the police station.
Yep.
And the talks there were no type of confession from you. Okay.
No, it was like, he was just gonna wait. I told him like, there was like that barbecue joint down the street. Like, it's good. He was, he told me he never left.
He didn't. I wasn't lying.
Yeah.
He was faithful. He was.
I mean, I don't know how he lasted that long without food.
We ended up giving him food.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was great. And the reason I ask is because when I look back and watch the video, now knowing what I know after talking to you today, I can see how genuine he was. but I just didn't know if you guys had come up with some sort of plan. Okay.
No, we never even talked. I know about that. If I had told him anything, he would have probably just told me to tell him right away.
I think you're right.
Now, he would have still loved me either way, but he would have told me you need to tell him like right now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be there for 14 or however long it was, like 10 hours or something.
You were there a long time.
Yeah, but it was. He would have told me just to tell you.
Did you know walking in there that you were going to tell us? Or did you think,
I didn't. I mean, I knew there was a reason you brought me back in. I know it well for the.
what'd you think about the polygraph?
That was horrible.
Why did you say
I
that?
don't know how you do that.
Why do you say that?
Because Tammy's a torturer.
I'm not.
No, like, I mean,
Tell me.
You answered. Oh, you asked me questions for like 3 or 4 hours beforehand, and then you do the polygraph, and it's like you just break down somebody's brain to where like
Too
it's like
much or what?
much. Jello, and it's just like I know it's you guys have a job and you have a plan, and that's what you executed it.
So she's thorough, right? There's just no way to get out of there without the truth.
No, I mean I kind of knew like because right when he asked me about like Saturday night, when I told you about the walking, I was like, man, she was like going through her head.
Well, we did know, we found out about Nikki right before the polygraph.
I figured that out after with meeting with John and everybody that
Yeah.
she had met with somebody from the CBI, like on the 14th or the 15th. I was just like, they were talking. Oh, okay. So you already knew. So, but
I mean, I didn't know how extensive it was, but yes, we knew.
yeah, I mean, walking in there that day, just walking into that room, I knew I wasn't walking out.
Yeah.
Just the feeling I had walking in that room.
Yeah.
Just I mean, I don't remember if the polygraph stuff was already in there. I think it was.
It was, yeah.
But it was. I knew it.
I just feel like sometimes when people, do the bad thing and they stay, like some part of me thinks, well, I think they're here because they really want to tell us what happened. Because it's not normal that you want to keep all that in. Like that just kills people on the inside. And I could tell it was killing you that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like that. 13th when I slept in the house, it did nothing. I don't think I slept maybe like 2 hours because I just finally just got so tired I just fell asleep. After I had every light on, nothing felt right.
What were you thinking about during your media interviews?
I didn't want to do it.
Why did you do it? Did you feel like you had to do it?
I felt like, they would have just kept knocking on my door until I answered it. And like, I didn't even set it up, but Nicole Atkinson set it up. She told me, hey, Fox is
Did you the one who set it up?
She said Fox is going to be at your house at 10:30. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. And, I think I even called you about it. Like, what do you recommend that I do? And he's like, it's kind of up to you. Yeah. Like, okay. And I called one of her friends, what should I do? And she said, I probably wouldn't do it, but I just felt like, I don't even want to know what I said, what I looked like on there, because I knew it. Some people said it just made it look even worse after the fact, but
It didn't look good. I mean, obviously we can't say, oh, we knew right then he was lying, but I think we all watched it together and went, this might be bad.
yeah, I mean,
I had that feeling after I watched it. Well, I could kind of see it in your face.
it's like I was just lying to more and more people, and it was just like
Do you have internet access here? No. Say don't get into that trap of putting in watch all
What crap? Oh,
social media trap and all that.
no, they don't
Ridiculous.
let you have social media here yet. I think some of the GP guys are getting like these little like tablets or something that are like the size of like a older iPhone or something.
yeah.
I think they can use like email, but I'm not sure about like social media. No, definitely no social media. Like, I'm not sure about internet or not, but
Mm-hmm.
this place is kind of like a dead zone fire for phones anyways. I would think.
I don't know. We're getting service, which is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would.
Right here.
Yeah, right in this room.
Maybe this is kind of like a hub of
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
Yeah. Computer room, you would hope they'd have some.
Did you talk to Nikki afterwards? After all this happened?
On the 13th. On the 13th and the 14th.
What was that conversation like?
It was the 13th, kind of like, it was more text and then maybe a phone call, like a phone call. And then she thought maybe Shanann like took off with the kids, like just, because I was telling her I didn't know where they were and all that. And then the 14th, she kind of like, I think she kind of thought something may have happened because they hadn't come back.
Why do you say that she might have thought that?
Her, she kept asking me like some weird questions. Like she kept asking like questions that only I would know, but she was testing to see if like it was actually me on the phone. Like
What do you mean?
like she would ask like, like what's my dog's name, or like what do I like what yoga studio do I go to, or something like that. And it's like, like I'll just answer like and then like another thing like, oh, I'm not sure if this is you. And it's like, okay.
Is this through text or is this through calls?
Text.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't hearing your voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible she thought you'd been arrested and we were on the phone?
More either Shanann had my phone or somebody else had my phone, or like maybe maybe she thought it was the
Well, hopefully Shanann would know all the answers to those questions, right?
no, this is Nikki asking me.
Yeah, but if she's asking you your name of your dog and what yoga studio, and
Yeah.
like, wouldn't
Well, maybe she thought, maybe I was with Shanann. Now she was just trying to find out who she was.
Mhm.
But yeah, like some of the conversation, like on the 14th, got a little weird. I think that's when she met with CBI or something, or FBI. I'm not sure who she met with first.
So she talked to you after she met with?
No.
Oh,
I was like, she had told me like, this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place. All this is all going on. Should not contact her until this is done. She told me to delete everything, and I didn't delete everything. Okay. I'm not sure why I didn't delete everything, but probably helped you guys out a little bit. But
She told you to delete everything?
delete all conversations.
Did she tell you why?
That deleted. I don't think you can ever delete a text message.
we're pretty good at getting deleted text messages.
Did when your dad came in, one of the first things you guys talked about, he said, kind of quietly, I cheated on her, I cheated on Shanann or something. Your dad didn't know until that time?
No, they had, when I was in North Carolina on August 6th, when I spent most of the day with my parents and my sister and everybody, they had, I had told them like something like, this, I don't think this is gonna work. Like, or with what happened with the nuts and everything, and they're not being able to see the kids. They're like, this is the first time they had talked to me, and pretty much.
Because you went 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, because Shanann told me to call him while I was at the beach just to smooth everything out. Because she was like, "All right, whatever's going on in your head, you need to fix this." But she didn't want me to. She didn't want the kids to see him. She didn't want to see him. And then, like when I did see him on August 6th, it was after I went and saw my grandmother. She's in a nursing home, and she still wouldn't let me go see my parents or anybody with the kids. So I just told her to leave me there, and my dad come pick me up, and spent the whole day there. They were they said they want to see the kids. They just don't know if they could ever just forgive Shanann for everything that happened that day. I guess I'm not sure like everything that was said that day when they had that argument, but apparently it was like a knockdown, drag out, like bomb that went off.
Pretty hurtful thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And they just don't know like if they could ever forgive her or not. And I just I never told them about cheating on her. Like they even asked me if there's somebody else.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So they could kind of sense maybe something was going on.
Yeah, because I think he was texting me the entire time I was over there. It's like they could kind of see like I was texting somebody, but it was like maybe they kind of knew. Like even like when I was in San Diego talking to my friend Mark, I told him about Nikki, but I didn't tell him like I was gonna meet up with her.
Okay.
I told him that, I was trying to like, I should have just told him right then. Maybe that would have. I know maybe he had an instance where there was a girl coming after him, and she was engaged, and he ended up getting with her, and then were together, and then she cheated on him.
Is this before he was married or during?
It's after.
Okay.
Like he could have, helped me, but I just, I never told him the whole thing. That it was a lot further along than I wanted it to be.
That's interesting to think about, right? Which dad could give him some good advice.
Yeah, everybody. Now this is my friend Mark.
Oh,
My
I'm
dad.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah. When I was in San Diego.
Oh, I got you.
So you think you told Mark about that, and hoping that he maybe question you about it, or?
Well, I was because Mark, my best friend, I grew up with him since I was like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So like, he had been married before, and it didn't work out. I guess they were stationed together or something like over in Korea, and I should have just kind of just came out with like the whole story, like like I just told him like there was this girl at work that I've been talking to, but I'm just distancing myself from her.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. I was just letting it, exponentially get worse.
Right.
And if I had told him like, hey,
Yeah.
he would have been like, whoa, man, like, all right, take a step back and look.
Yeah.
Right. And like, don't like fall into that trap. Being you're gonna be alone for 5 weeks. And there's times I wish, like maybe Shanann didn't have to go away for 5 weeks. Maybe we all just went for 1 week.
Yeah.
Nothing would have ever happened.
Yeah.
It's only, 5 weeks alone, that's the only reason really that would almost even allowed to happen.
There are quite a few people who would tell us and who do tell us you need to look into Nikki more, Nikki Kessinger. All the way from the extreme end of things being Nikki's the one who ordered the hit.
She was there hiding in the basement.
She was there.
Yeah.
So the extreme is she's the one who told Chris to do it. She's the real problem. All the way, that's the extreme side, and then all the way to, well, there were these texts where she was infatuated, she was in love, she was saying how good Chris was in the sack, and maybe we should look at her more. What would you say to those people?
Like, she had her moments where I had to talk her like off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
It's like, I guess after the fact, there was like videos of her that she was like recording herself because she was like bipolar or something. I never knew that. But it's like, and she would get worked up about nothing. She would just like, she came to my house once because I think it was like July 4th. I didn't have to work that day. So I didn't like get up at like, 4 o'clock and go home. And Shanann called me like, and I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. I was just like, and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her on outside, like, where are you at? Like what? Like I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like called me at like 5:30. It's like, kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, she just like screw you, like like I don't know where you're at, and I went back inside. Something like I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, then you come back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place
Yeah.
when Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because I didn't have to that day. First holiday I ever had off, and Shanann was pissed, and kind of pissed Nikki off too that I left. But I think that's when I'd called Nikki later, and she was like, she kind of realized that she'd always be like the second. She said second fiddle.
Sure.
And because that's how I probably would come like that day. Just I don't want to be anywhere else when Shanann calls. She was already pissed. So it was stuff like that where she would she would go. She said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody? Like, will a mistress work? Will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on websites and look at stuff like that. I was like, why do you even look at stuff like that? She's like, I just want to see what other people have experienced.
But so that confuses me though, because I thought earlier you were saying she thought you were heading toward a divorce. So why was she looking at herself as a mistress?
This was later on.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
in August, like
Okay.
first week of August, when I told her like, I had had that talk with her about separation.
Uh-huh.
That's when like she started looking at like apartments and stuff. But like during our July relationship type thing there,
Oh, I see.
that's when she was looking up like, will it actually work? She told her friend Brittany about it, I guess, and Brittany told her not to do it, but she said she'd already made a decision.
Okay. And so, are those people absolutely wrong about Nikki? She wasn't asking you to get rid of your family.
No.
Are you sure? Okay. And no part of any of this was because she put it in your head or asked you to, or
You never, I mean, this whole relationship contributed to it,
sure.
but she didn't want me to.
I mean, was it ever like, I wish you didn't have kids. I want to have, kids of my own with you. Like,
She never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she said that, at one point she said, I'd like to give you a son.
did she know that Shanann was pregnant with a boy?
No.
Did she know Shanann was pregnant?
No.
And why is that? You just didn't tell her?
I didn't know. Like, because we had met.
But Shanann put that on Facebook.
That's
Like, how did she not see
I
that?
don't know. Maybe she did. She just wait for me to tell her, or she put it out of her head.
Can I ask you a question? A lot of people think you named Nico after Nikki. So what was that?
Nico was actually named that Shanann liked.
Okay. Shanann thought of that one.
Yeah, I wanted to spell it like Neko. I thought it was like Nico that way.
Mm-hmm.
But she said Nico. I thought it was like something like Nico or something.
Okay.
Because Nico is more of like an Italian name.
Italian, yeah.
So, and like she did leave her, my middle name, my dad, and all that. But like Nico is like that's a name that she always liked.
Okay.
Did she name all the kids? She named Bella and Celeste?
Yeah, Bella because Italian means beautiful. Marie, mom's middle name. Celeste is her grandmother's name. Catherine's Shannon's middle name.
Did you have any input in their names?
I just liked them. I was like, if we had a third child, I was gonna maybe we could have like Lee in the middle name, but I knew like the girls' names. And it's, I love those names, so it's like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like with the we have little nicknames for them, like Belle and Belladine and CC, obviously. So that's good. But yeah, Nico was.
Can we go back to the house on the 13th? So, one point, right when you got back there, Coonrod was there, Officer Coonrod, and Nicole was there.
Mhm.
And then you went in the house in there for about a minute or so before you let everybody in. Remember what you were doing in there at that time?
So I went into the garage
Right.
and then I ran around and I opened the front door.
Yeah.
Opened the front door did everybody come in through the garage or the front door?
Everybody comes through the front door.
Yeah, so I came in, I went in through there, and I came in and opened the front door, and I ran upstairs. And I just was like, I was looking around.
Okay. That's after everybody? Did you go around the house at all before you opened the front door? No.
I didn't run around the house. I stayed down on the bottom,
Okay.
bottom floor, and then
Yeah.
when I opened the door,
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
and I ran upstairs and everybody else. And that's when Nicole's son was on the phone, and I was going from snack. Like it was to the house.
Yeah.
Shanann had her bra on. Was that normal that she would sleep in her bra?
Every once in a while. I mean, she just got home from the plane, so she didn't even take off her makeup or anything. Maybe she was just that tired. But normally, I don't know.
Did it not come off when you guys had sex?
I don't think so. Sometimes she just, she keeps her shirt on and she doesn't want me to do anything. It's like she wants what she wants. She knew what she wanted. That's what she wanted.
Was it just missionary sex?
Yep.
And her final resting place, was that just naturally what she was wearing? You didn't change her or anything like that? Okay.
Did you have to see any of that stuff? Pictures or anything? No.
That's not true. They said I could. I was like, no, I don't want. I've prayed for those hazmat workers that I'm sure it was hazmat, right? That had the
You're part of it.
yeah. And like,
We were all there.
We were all there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I never wanted to see it. I was praying for that. I'd rather have to be there. I don't never wanted to know what the aftermath was. They said like, if this ever got like a preliminary hearing, that I would have to see him just to be prepared and not have a reaction, an initial reaction. But I was like, I don't want to see him.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you?
Yeah, I mean, they were my only human contact, really. They're kind of like almost like a guidance counselor, almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus though, with your decisions you made,
Yeah,
or
I
no?
was like, there was a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like
Sure.
maybe there was a lot of things they never told me, like like stuff that came out like afterwards, like that whole Nikki Kessinger article and Denver Post and all that kind of stuff. They told me like afterwards and everything, but it was. I always felt like anything I was telling them, they were gonna do. Like the whole taking the plea deal and everything. I told them that's what I wanted to do, and they asked me like, seems like 100 times, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like once you sign this, like." I guess like up until sentencing, I had the time to like back out, but like they always, even before we walked in the courtroom, like, "Are you sure?" So yeah, this is it. Like, okay. They never told me this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They always just said, "This is your decision." Like if you want to take this farther, and John said he was right. He had all kinds of motions written, all kinds of stuff that were like really creative, and because he'd never been in something like this before, and he was ready to fight. And I was just like, I didn't want you to have to do that. Not for me, not for something that the story isn't true. Because it would just only got worse
Right.
for everybody, for all three of you, for everybody that was involved in it.
Are you still glad you did?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be in prison the rest of my life, but like I don't want people to have to keep going through this every day of their lives, knowing that there's a trial hanging over their head, or I mean, if it ever got that far, I don't know. But like, I didn't want people to have to relive it every day. Yeah. Did they have to ever see the pictures?
Say that
Did
again.
they have to ever see the pictures? Frank and Sandy and all them?
No, they never seen it.
They saw some things.
They didn't see anything bad.
Okay.
Yeah, we shielded that from them.
That's one thing I just didn't want them to have to see anything or hear anybody talk about anything or any part of it. Or like, anybody bashed their daughter, like anybody to ruin, like, to hear what, some of my friends had a negative, impact on her from her, or like had a description of her that didn't match, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either, but I didn't want them like, anybody had to trash her memory. Like I wanted like them to know like she was, she's a loving wife, she's beautiful, she always helped everybody else, all her friends, her Lucas friends, everybody. I just wanted I didn't want anybody to take away what she did.
We tried to get you to say that night. I know, but do you remember
I
that?
remember I was just like,
I know you obviously weren't ready to say that then.
I don't know, it's like, like after my dad left, we both came in like, all right, we got most of the story. Let's get to the true story. I was like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
Well, in the end, I think you did the right thing. And even though it's hard to hear, there's a lot of people who thank you for what you did. I think your whole life has been thinking of others, except for one brief moment. I think you really did think of others when you made that choice. So I personally thank you, right? Because it would have been hard for the three of us to go through about this hard and for everyone else about that hard, right?
Because anybody that was family or friends,
Right.
Been, it's exponentially harder for everybody.
Yeah. You did the right thing.
So you haven't told your parents what happened. You just told them I'm pleading guilty for a reason.
And I've told them like on the phone, even because they're still
You should fight it. You should get.
They've got letters from like Australia, from England. I mean, of like the 35C in Colorado and stuff, like, improper counsel or something like that.
Ineffective counsel.
Effective counsel. And I mean, some of the stuff they've said about, the dry patch, how it's not like FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind, like, like there was some kind of condition, but there's something else they call like CPSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or something like that. Have been like some people from England have had it. It's like they've been in an emotionally abusive relationship or something. I mean, it's like some of the little subjects they put in there, like I can relate to it, but like it doesn't make up for the fact what happened. But like they've got a lot of support they've got a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls, a lot of like stuff like that. I wish they never happened, but they get some support, which is good. But on the phone, they still think there's a chance that I could get out.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to ever think your kid's going away forever. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want to fathom it.
They tell me to fight it, like they don't, not every day, but on their bad days,
Yeah.
they'll get a bad message or a bad letter, and then I'll just revert back.
Is it more your mom or your dad?
My mom, she loses it a lot
Yeah.
on the phone. My dad's usually trying to, like, hey, don't talk about this stuff on the phone with him, because it's just gonna rile you up, and it's gonna make him go back to his cell, and he's just gonna think about that all night,
Right.
and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
So they're coming. I think they're gonna try to make a visit in like May or so.
So they don't, do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason, but they think that I was their words like railroaded by belief.
Yeah.
Because they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Well,
Do you feel like that?
No.
No.
No, they asked me plenty of times. This is like, they wanted to fight. Like if I said fight, they would have just, gone and
Found their gloves?
just went in there and did it. And it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it? Okay.
I have to say, like, after this was all over, people would bring up, like, oh my gosh, I bet you're going to find out that Chris, used to torture animals and, all this stuff. You can imagine, like, hearing that someone's capable of that. What have they done in their past? Those kinds of things. Can you think back to your past at all, like your childhood, and think about any other moments that maybe you felt this same rage? I mean, obviously you didn't do anything like that, but maybe felt that rage, and like what would have triggered that or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I was always like somebody that tried to coax people down, not to like if somebody wanted to fight somebody else. I didn't get in a fight like when I was in third grade, but it was like, we ripped each other's shirt, went away crying.
Mhm.
It was like, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why did I do that? And like maybe that was like my only like bad thing I did in school. So I can't think of
Did you
anything.
feel it on the inside, whether you didn't act it out? Like, did you feel like if someone bullied you at school or if someone whatever, like, would it still be inside you? Like, did you feel like that even though you didn't actually act on it?
I don't believe because I was always, I never really talked to many people. So I mean, people knew who I was, but they didn't really, I never really spoke to many people. That's why I never really had a girlfriend in high school. I mean, I was always kind of like, just fly under the radar.
Did you feel like you had low self-esteem?
I won't say low self-esteem. It was just like, I didn't want to be part of like a group or a clique. I just like, I had a couple friends, sat at the lunch table with them or sat out, they call it like the fish pond area, and, was chilled out there. And I didn't really want a whole lot of friends. It's kind of like just a close knit. I just wasn't out there. I mean, like I said, people knew who I was, but it wasn't a matter of like I was popular or anything.
Mm-hmm. Can you attribute that to anything in your childhood? Why you were like
My
that?
sister was always the popular one.
Uh-huh.
She was more like my mom, like more like outgoing, and like me and my grandma would always sit outside in middle school waiting for her to come out and pick her up, and she'd always be the last one out. She'd talk to everybody in the hallway. And my grandma was always like, "Where's she at? Does she know we're waiting?" But I was just the opposite of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, sometimes you have kids that are like the same, and some of you have opposite. Me and my sister were completely opposite. Maybe I just drew on that I didn't want to be the popular one. I wanted to be just just a regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
But there was not really like bullying or not like I remember nobody ever really came up to me or wanted to fight me or.
Never got made fun of. Never.
I mean, I had braces and I had like a bowl cut for a while. I guess it could have made a big fun.
Most kids did.
80s and 90s are cruel.
It's like a Jim Carrey cut with the bowl on your head. I didn't worry them around, but yeah, it was. I don't think there was anything that would be pent up inside me from
From childhood.
childhood.
I know you talked about your dad having an addiction when I was talking to you.
That was after I left. I left home.
Was it cocaine or something
It
or
was some type of powder. I'm not sure if that was
Okay.
cocaine. I guess that's.
how do you think that affected you?
I don't think it affected me. Well, it did affect me, but it didn't like take like deep down. It didn't like really hurt as much as I thought it would. It was kind of weird because of my thing with my mom and my sister told me. Like when they talked to him about it, didn't seem to register. Like I said, like he would just change subject, and like when I talked about it, he eventually immediately changed subject. Like because they found like cuts on his like CDs and stuff where he would like
Oh.
separate it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
'Cause he a car dealership. I mean, find guys that do that kind of stuff all the time, I guess. But he was just coping with like I never came back home, and that's before I met Shanann, and it was just
Did you feel guilty that he's now using drugs because you never came back home, like he lost his kid?
I never really knew why he was doing it. After the fact, I knew it was because he was coping with that, but I never knew why he really actually turned to drugs. My mom thought he was having an affair because all this money was going somewhere else just for the drugs. But like I'm not myself, I never used drugs, so I always try to tell him like, hey, like what's going on? Like why do you need to use this? And it's like you could using this for a whole lot better things. Just don't throw your life away. I mean, like because you can see in his face, like it's like eyes were like everything was getting like like the blood through your face and like your skin was getting all loose and like he was losing a lot of weight
Mm-hmm.
and nose was bleeding all the time and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was just telling him like, hey, you smoked like every day of your life since you were like 15 or 16. I can't get you to stop that, but I can get you to stop this.
Right.
And he put it away, I guess, pretty quick after I talked to him about it.
Do you think you were closer to your dad than your mom?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always went to races together, and just he always came to my sports, played for a couple school sports, rec ball, all that kind of stuff. My mom would come too sometimes. But my dad was always there, yeah. Even if I wasn't playing, he'd just come there just in case I can't win in there.
Oh.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if they hadn't visited because they weren't ready to visit, or if it was a money thing, or like
Is it
give
here
the
or
time off.
Colorado?
Yeah, you
is it
like
here?
yeah, visit here.
Well, I just told him like, well, we can't drive in the snow, so it's
Oh.
not like I don't want.
These roads are bad.
Yeah, it's I think it's like an hour from either Madison Airport, whichever
Yep.
way it is. I told him like wait till springtime.
Good advice.
Yeah,
Pretty brutal.
it was yesterday.
Funny. They get here.
They sold my toolbox to get some money to come out here.
Okay.
So yeah, so they'll come out here in like they said April, but I was like, just maybe push it till June. They said they come somehow have a blizzard out here in April.
Yeah.
Too. Like
Late spring, what they're doing.
so lake effect stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
And how are you doing mentally?
I mean, the first time I didn't know I was coming here. Obviously, I mean, when I was at DRDC, like
Swooped you up, didn't you?
I was there a week. Like first day I got there, they put me through the ringer. Like I had like 11 tests to do, like mental tests, like reading, math, all kinds of stuff. Just to see where my IQ was, and then I just sat there the rest of the week, and then Sunday came along, and after dinner they said, "All right, strip down and put this on." Okay, and then walked outside and put me in the van. I'm just like, okay, I had no idea what was going on. And they stopped in Sterling, which really freaked me out. I was just like, I don't want to do this because I heard so many horror stories about that place. And they just stopped to use the bathroom, and then we kept going.
In the prison? Do they use the bathroom at the prison?
Yeah, it was like at the watchtower outside.
Oh.
And we went to Nebraska, sheriff's office there, and then another sheriff's office in Iowa. Used the bathroom, eat breakfast, then got here. I asked him. I only talked to him once. I'm like, "Can you tell me like where we're going? Like just the destination state?" He's like, "I don't know." So there was it was like one of those like transport vans, like it was like at just the middle where I was sitting there, and I could see out the window, and I could see like they would put in an address each time. Like they had like 4 sets of addresses. They each one they had to go to. They just would never tell me where we were gonna end up.
What did they say your IQ was?
And I was like 140, 35 or something like that.
Is that high? I don't even know what.
That's good. About that.
Yeah. It was taking me back to high school for real. I'm like,
Trained parts of the city and all that stuff.
yeah, there was a lot of word problems, a lot of like geometry, a lot of like, patterns, like if this was moved this way, and then there was like a series of them, like, all right, what's this going to be? Just a lot of stuff like that. But like the further you got along, harder it got. I'm just like, it's like great. And it was like they give you this little take that pen and take the little tube out in the middle. That's where you're using to fill in the little Scantron sheets and everything. Felt like look high school again.
Do you know how long you're going to be here? Neither do I, by the way. Are you going to get a job?
If since I'm staying here, since I've gotten staffed here, they have to work.
Oh, so what's your job now? Okay.
They had to move me out of the acceptance and evaluation, assessment and evaluation.
You're still in that phase? Okay. And how long will that take?
Oh, right now, like since I've been staffed here, I'm just waiting for them to move me over to a different unit.
And are you in Gen Pop right now?
No, I'm in a unit. There's like 11 or 12 of us on there. There was like 22 when I first got there, but they've been transferred to the other prisons around.
So what are the other guys like?
They're fine. Like the first time, like I sat out, and ate like a breakfast or lunch with them, I was
You're nervous, scared?
I was just like, this hasn't happened. Like not since I just never happened.
Yeah.
Like I said, they locked the hallways down when I got moved to Colorado.
Well, I've heard that.
So it was like, being next, like right like this, eating next to somebody, I was just like, they're gonna like take a spork and try to stab me or something or what? But it's totally different here. I mean, people know who I am, but like they don't like, run at me or jump at me or like apparently the guys that work here, they know that I guess other maxes are like you lock down like 23, 22 hours a day.
Oh, so then this is an alright place to be?
For like other max guys.
Good.
They said it's the best max for the worst medium.
Oh.
Because if you're max, you're working, so you're out at your cell working, like if you're a clerk or if you're in the kitchen or if you're in the rec area, you're doing something.
Okay.
But yeah, they said like if you get staffed here, it'll be best for you. Plus, they said it's not as like rowdy as some of the other places.
Oh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm going to the GP area. I just don't know when.
And you think that'll be while you're here?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they said like I guess it could take it takes a while to get moved from max to medium because in Colorado I was classified as minimum restrictive, but with the charges it would have been medium. But here it's automatic max.
And what are the other guys in for,
They said most guys in here for like gang snitches and sex offenders and mainly people that have 20 years or more.
So people who were in for a long time and who would otherwise have a pretty hard time at a jail.
Yeah.
For whatever they did.
Yeah.
Whether it be snitching or
Yeah, like
children. Or,
yeah, there's some people from other states here as well, and Guess there's a couple cops here too.
Okay.
Just just things have happened, and they just don't think it'd be better. It'd be a lot better if they're here, not at another.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of jobs are available?
Well, it's like they'll probably have me in the kitchen more than like that's where everybody starts out, like either washing dishes or like putting food on the trays or helping pots and pans, something like that.
Right.
But they have like libraries. They have like I think this is the PSU area, the psych area. So they'll have like different guys doing clerk stuff around here. I mean, they have over like 300 GP guys here that are like live here. So they have a job for every one of them.
Wow.
There's even a guy that shovels the sidewalks.
Like we saw him.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want I want to be that guy.
Not here.
Do you go to therapy? Do you see a psychologist? Do
There's
you?
actually the one her name's like Javier or something like that. She seemed like once a month. And she's actually from Aurora.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. I walked in, I saw a Bronco flag. I'm like, okay, who are you? But yeah, it's
So does she give you therapy or?
no, she just like talks to me just to see if I need anything or like if I need psych meds or if I need anything like that, which I've declined all that stuff. But most people in my unit have meds.
Just to have them, or do you think they need them?
Well, it's like a special management unit. Like they just put me on there to keep me away from DP. And like most people either like just have like some type of medication they're on.
You don't take anything.
No. They just keep me on there until the security advisor says, he can get moved to GP down the hall.
What kind of stuff, like food and stuff, do you miss the most from the outside?
Food?
Yeah.
Well, I know from, my last time in North Carolina, Bojangles, that was really good. I don't know if you guys ever go to North Carolina or no?
Is that barbecue?
It's chicken and biscuits.
Mm.
And that barbecue place down the street from the PD.
Mm-hmm.
Forget what.
Smokehouse.
Yeah.
George Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the burn ends. I miss that. And just, I miss Shanann's cooking. That's for sure. Like her spaghetti sauce and her fried pizza.
Fried pizza?
I don't think I've heard of that. What is that?
Never.
Her mom had, or I think it was her mom, her grandmother on her mom's side had this this dough, homemade dough you can make, and just make up the dough, and she would make it up with Bella and Celeste sometimes, with like a little smaller one, but she would make the really big one, and then she would put it in the oven, the bottom oven, let it sit there for a couple hours, not put it on or anything, just let it rise,
Mhm.
and then once it's done, take it out, form it, throw the spaghetti sauce she has, spread it around, and throw the mozzarella and pepperoni and put it on the oven 350. And
But what part of it is fried though?
well, they have some parts that you put on the grill. You can put
Okay.
on the stove too.
Okay.
It's really good. I mean, it's really thick.
Yeah.
So you got
Apparently, we need this,
Yeah.
Sandy.
I will work on that.
Yes. Write a note.
yeah.
Are you able to stay out of trouble here?
Yeah. No.
Nobody's getting any fights. You're not getting written up for anything. You're not getting.
I try to keep a little bit out here. But I don't want to. Because they say if you get like 2 contact reports, they'll ship you out if you work here. They don't want.
To another location.
Yeah.
Oh, so then does that incentivize people putting their nose down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess a couple guys got busted for on a cell phone.
Oh,
Oh, how we got it in?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like that stuff just baffles my mind how that stuff gets to.
I mean, they won't even if somebody sends me a letter and it has like someone sent me a Christmas card with glitter on it, they'll let me have it because it's glitter. Like it's contraband. So yeah, I don't know how people get cell phones and stuff in here.
So what do you do with all these letters that are coming into you?
Most of them, I just have this. If somebody writes me once, I'll never write them just because I don't know who they are, where they're from. I'll keep it. If it's like a weird letter, I'll straight up throw it away. If it's like a supportive letter, I'll keep it around just supportive letter. And then I've had some people write me a second, third time, but they've changed the way they talk or they've said different things. There's this dude in California that wrote me. He's a senior in high school and wrote, He's like, okay, dude. I look at the name, like, okay, shred it up, threw it away. He wrote me again like 2 weeks ago. Totally different. Like never mentioned like his age, never mentioned his setting, like, hey, like I support you, I'm like all this, like that. Like if I didn't recognize his name, I would have known like he was just an 18-year-old kid, senior trying to just like probably just get information. Trying to, because there's been like journalists and like
Mhm.
other people like you could kind of tell like they ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to like take into effect who's writing me and like just not to respond. Like I've responded to a few people just because like either my parents have talked to them on the outside and then I kind of know, okay, it's a real person.
Oh,
But like there's some people that like it seems like they're just trying like to get help for themselves too. Like some people ask like, like just for spiritual advice.
they're asking for spiritual advice from you.
Yeah, like, if they're not asking about the case, I'll write them back. If they ask about the case, I'll write them back. Yeah.
You think you'll be in love again? There's a lot of women out there that are in love with you.
No. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm not the guy that's down the street or whatever it is. I've heard enough about that guy since I've been here.
What have you heard about him?
The guy engaged over a letter.
He did, yeah.
That's pretty insane. But yeah, I don't see myself being in love ever again.
Do you have some ladies that are giving you a lot of, like, just telling you that they're in love with you and that kind of stuff?
Well, I've had a couple letters that have been like, I hear you get a lot of letters from lady friends that tell you all you need to know. I'm like, I don't get those letters. Trust me. Like I guess there was one letter in Colorado, someone sent me a picture of them in the key, and then it's like went on from there. That was like the only letter I ever got. That was like that, but the press took it and just went with it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get requests from the press?
Mhm.
And how does that work?
Just tear it up.
Are you personally are declining?
Well, I don't like write it back.
Would they allow you to talk with them? Would they allow many here to talk with you?
No. I guess foundations have asked to come in here and talk to me, but they had told them no.
Oh,
But I've gotten letters from like, Denver station and whatnot wanting to talk to me.
Mhm.
And then quotation marks off the record. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Anything I write.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, I just tear it up, throw it away.
Have you thought about, like, writing a book or anything like that?
No, it's nothing like that.
What do you-
My mom and dad have been sorry.
No, go ahead.
My mom and dad are saying maybe you should like write down like how you feel or like, how you've been dealing with this type thing. Just write it down and that would be my story. But I'm just like, I'm not writing. That's not me. I mean, I've always had a really crazy imagination. So like when I was a kid, like I even convinced my teacher I went to Japan over the summer or to China or something. But she said, you should just write down like, your story, like how you cope with this.
Why did you convince your teacher you had gone to another country?
It was just like what you did over the summer. And I was like, oh, I went to China. You're still right. She actually believed it. I was really convincing.
So you're a smart dude. Yeah.
It was, and they, like, parent teacher conference said, so how was China? What? Nope.
So earlier you were talking about how it's experience you're gonna want to help people. What do you mean by that?
So like this couple letters that I've gotten, like this one girl, she's in like an abusive relationship and she just can't find a relationship like with God. And like I never read the Bible before all this. Like in Will County I read it. It's,
Right.
in the segregation hole there, it was like that was the only book I got. I was like, okay. I read it cover to cover. And I never thought I could, being how many pages were in the Bible, but it stuck with me, and like I've been reading it more and more here. Like I got a different version here. I've just been reading it, just writing down like a couple scriptures a day, like to give my mom and dad.
Mhm.
They've been like making a little journal and stuff like that. And my uncle Johnny and his wife, Martha, they're actually missionaries, and one of my cousins is actually as well, and they've been helping my mom and dad. They've been they looked at a couple of my letters, and they were amazed at how mature I've gotten with like the Bible and everything, with Scripture, man. It just like one gift that I did get was a good memory, as far as like being able to memorize stuff, right? And like that's what happened with cars and with the oil field. I can just memorize acronyms like that, and I've been memorizing a lot of different scripture. I can just kind of like help people that way. It was like there's been inmates that have left my unit and went to a different place and have written me just to ask like, can you give me a couple of scriptures to help me through this? Like, do you know of any? I can help somebody that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you get to go to school or anything?
They don't have any else programs here.
Well, they don't.
That's a accepted or evaluation prison, so they don't. I think this is when they have a sex offender class in here.
Hmm.
That's the only thing they really have.
You gonna go to that?
No, no. I always ask like, why do people go in there? And they're like, you don't want to go in that class.
You stay away from that class.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's the only thing they have here, but they have other that's like the map of the prisons they have here.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier.
Oh wow.
They have a lot here.
Like 3 right in this area.
Yeah, they're down here. I was just amazed that one thing I did see out the window when there was like a neighborhood that was right next to the prison.
Yeah.
So it's like, is that
The same thing.
yeah weird? Because like in Colorado, it seems like they're all like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Right.
Sterling's been going on.
Yeah.
Hey. You see?
Well, we might take a little break right now. Well,
I think it's almost time for you to eat lunch.
yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah. But like the polygraph, everything just like look up the time. I'm like, oh wow.
It's been 4 hours. Holy cow.
They might let us come back and help you.
Okay,
There might be a couple more things we want to go over. Is
Okay.
that something you're up for?
awesome.
Okay. And then the other thing is, we might be back in a month and a year and 2 years, if you're up for it. Now that's way down the road, but I guess maybe in the back of your mind, just think about that. I hope so far today's been all right for you.
Yeah, it's been honestly when I walked in, I was just like, wait, I know these.
Where do I know these guys?
I look at you, I'm like that's not the site counselor. That's oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
They're Colorado people.
So then that's past that A&E sergeant. I was like, all right, who am I meeting? I go, not the A&E sergeant.
So there's a possibility we might not make it back today. I just want to let you know, but
Okay.
we might. So we really appreciate you talking to us. So
Thanks for coming. Total took me off guard. I didn't know ideas.
Yeah. And again, this isn't it. The case is over, close. So that's not what today's about. We really appreciate it. You did a lot of things really well, really good. Made a lot of good decisions. Well, obviously, we're here because of just one bad decision, but I think that you've taken steps to get past that. So yeah, we might come back after lunch if that's all right.
That's fun.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go see if I can grab somebody.
What are you guys planning to?
Yeah.
I think I had the better drive.
I think you probably did. Yeah.
Mine was like 50 minutes. Theirs was like 2 hours. It
Yeah.
was snowing. It's pretty
Like
nasty out there.
effect.
Yeah, the wind's blowing.
Not like wind like Colorado then.
It's a hell of a lot colder.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, the roads aren't getting cleared like they would get cleared in Colorado. I think they just have so much.
Yeah, it just comes in and just bombs.
Yeah.
Colorado, it just melts within a couple hours.
Right.
Here, honestly, I haven't seen it melt here since I've got
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's
Yeah, it's
houses are
piles.
just piled, like, oh, it's the next snow, and they just pile it on top. So it doesn't look like anything melts.
no.
It's a problem. So.
Okay.
Do you guys go outside for rec or anything, or?
No, not when has to be over 50 degrees.
Oh, you won't be out for a while.
No, they have like a like a little basketball court down the hall from where my unit is. So we get there about 5 days a week for like 40 minutes.
Nice.
It's a good chance to just get out and just run around a little bit, and just
Mhm.
stretch your legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Any weights or anything you can use?
Yeah, there's some weights in there. We go with another unit, and they're the infirmary unit that goes with us, and most of them are like in wheelchairs and whatnot.
Mhm.
So kind of like I just let them do I don't want to get in their way. Just like let them like there's like the pull downs and the right lats and all that kind of road machine and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but I think they have like a track or something like that you can run around. Once we can go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, they let you go outside. Like I never went outside, but like at the DRDC, they just said, "Do you want to go outside? Let you go outside. That's cold."
Thanks.
Buyer beware.
Like, hey, should I go eat more wreck today? You're like, no. No, it's like 30 degrees outside. You can go outside if you want. Like, okay. But their version of wreck was like they put you out in a little cage and let you like kind of walk around for a little bit.
Yeah.
At the RDC. It was a little different there.
If we don't want to come back, I just want to let you know I talked to your dad the other day.
Okay.
And just to get your property released to him.
Oh, that phone and stuff?
Yeah, your
Okay.
phone and what else?
Wallet.
Your wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have some other stuff too. So, but I have to wait for the DA to release all that stuff and
Okay.
red tape crap. So.
Gotcha.
But then we'll send it off to him.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I know he wanted my phone just so that
Yeah.
it was on pictures on there.
That's what he said.
I think I had that phone since like 2016, so there's a good amount on there.
Yeah.
If we don't make it back today, it's going to be because of some of their scheduling. It's not that we don't want to talk to you some more.
It was fine.
There's more things we can't talk about.
Okay.
But if we don't make it back, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, it's a holiday, so I figured they'd be pretty much open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't see many people walking through the hallways and like came down. Usually there's a ton.
A visitor or what?
No, just a ton of people, just like workers walking up and down.
Oh,
Seemed pretty sparse.
Yeah, it did seem sparse, didn't it?
That's one thing I was shocked about when I walked around here. I was always used to seeing everybody in handcuffs walking around the hallways.
Yeah.
Here,
That is interesting, right? I thought the same thing. I couldn't tell who was who.
yeah, it's like
You can't necessarily
you
tell.
you see the red tag. It's like an inmate, but somebody else might work here,
Oh.
or like somebody that's like actual civilian works here.
So then you're not in shackles and handcuffs that often?
I haven't been since I got here.
You're kidding.
That's why I was amazed. I was like, when the guy took me in the hallway, I was like, anything? No, just keep walking.
Yeah.
That's my psych counselor was saying. This isn't Max when she first got here. Like, no, it's like Max or something. It's just like, you know, if you want to act up, they'll put you
Don't
in.
use it. You'll earn those shackles back.
Oh yeah, they'll put you in handcuffs, take you to the hole,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they'll ship you out of here.
They have a solitary here.
Oh yeah, they'll strap you out in the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Can't move.
Yeah.
A little reminder of, behave, right?
Yeah, it's like don't
Not that you need it.
don't
but-
pass food. Don't pass anything that's not yours. Otherwise, you're gonna.
Do you get to buy like commissary and stuff?
It's different here. It's like a bubble sheet instead of like Colorado was like a little touch screen you do.
Uh-huh.
But here's like a little Scantron. You send it off to like Missouri. I mean, it's the same company, but it just takes longer to get here.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Like what kind of stuff can you buy?
like ramen soup and peanut butter and oatmeal, like lemonade mix, stuff like that. I usually just get the oatmeal soup.
Do your parents put money on your books then?
Yeah, I'm not sure how like that restitution stuff's gonna work. I'm sure like that'll like whoever sent me money on the canteen will probably like it'll take a little bit of it too.
Oh yeah.
Right here.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank you.
All right.